Sunday. Welcome to the studio. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to show you what we're working on this week. You're going to love this. So this week I'm really excited to be jumping into the image transfer technique. Love doing image transfers because you can use them for collage. Hello, they look amazing. And I have done quite a few. I've used them in these collages and I've used them in these portrait paintings, and they're absolutely fabulous. I love creating them. They are a little experimental. It does not turn out perfect every time, just so you know, but there are some techniques that I can teach you that will help you have more success than not with the image transfer process. Now, personally, I find using laser prints from the copy shop that I get printed out much easier than using magazine pages, but we're going to do both. I find doing image transfers from the magazine very hit and miss, and I don't like the miss factor. I just want it to work. So I have found that getting laser prints from the copy shop or office center to be far more successful every time. So I have some copies here. These are all color copies, color laser copies. I know they look black and white, but I have personally found for me, using color toner works a lot better for the transfer process. These are images on unsplash.com. They are royalty free. I love using royalty-free images if I'm going to put them into a painting or I want to sell my collage. It's really vitally important. Also, I have a couple of my little treasure that we might have some fun with that as well. I do have some magazines and we are going to do some image transfers with the magazines. But like I said, it's a lot more hit and miss. But I'll show you, because if it doesn't work, you'll feel better, right? You'll be really happy because you'll know that sometimes it just doesn't work for everybody. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try some different ideas and some different patterns and textures, and we'll see what actually works. Now, I'm using the Japanese calligraphy paper. I'm also using cheap tissue from the dollar store, and I've got some glassine. Yay, I find the glassine really pulls the paint off the gel plate. That's fabulous. Got my brayer and a roll-off sheet and my 8x10 gel plate, and I'm really excited. I'm just going to pull out some paints and we're just going to get in a creative frenzy and see what we want to make. Now, I've just opened an Amazon store. The link is in the description under the video. If you want to know what I'm using, what colors I'm using, and I don't mention it, or you forget, or you don't know what it is, have a look at the link on the Amazon store at the episode that you want to know, because I've started putting them into episodes of Sunday in the Studio, the art products that I'm using, because I get lots of questions and you want to know what I'm using, and it's way easier. It's one click, hello, and there you go. You'll find out very quickly, and you can buy it or not. I'm not going to stress out if you don't, but it is there if you want to. It just makes it easy, and I love easy. Righto, so let's jump into it and let's see what kind of creative frenzy we can get happening today. Yippee! We're going to start very simple with the most basic way of creating the image transfer, and then we could get trickier and experiment more as we go along. So I'm just using a Payne's Grey, the Reeves brand, very cost efficient, very affordable paint. Now, the problem that I personally have had with image transfers is I always put too much paint on the plate. Number one, not too much paint. That's why I have a fabulous paper packaging roll-off sheet, because I know how it's going to go. I'm very heavy-handed with my paint and I tend to have too much on the plate. So let's start with a thin layer of Payne's Grey. We're going to do my little treasure there, my beautiful daughter. Let's put her on the plate. This is a laser print, a good firm rub, and we should be able to transfer the image onto the plate. Basically, you want to use strong contrast of images or photos because you need that strong contrast of the light and the dark areas. The dark areas repels the paint, and that's what sticks to the gel plate, and the light areas absorbs the paint and it doesn't stick, and that's what's going to create your fabulous transfer. Good firm rub. On the plate she goes. That's pretty good. She's looking beautiful. Now I'm just going to put her straight onto a piece of craft paper because this is the most simplest and basic way of doing an image transfer. From the laser print onto the gel plate, from the gel plate straight onto a piece of craft paper, and away you go. Basic image transfer 101. Yay, let's hope it works. Now I'm using a brayer, a clean brayer, just to give it some more contact on the paper because I just like to use a clean brayer. That's just me. You don't have to have a second brayer, but you know, if you've got one, yippee. So there she is, and that is a beautiful and successful image transfer on the craft paper. Yippee, she looks glorious. I could easily put her into a collage and be very happy with that. This time I've got a Liquitex muted turquoise, a little bit on the plate. And we're just going to do the same simple basic technique again because I like doing things a couple of times, and then we'll move on and get tricky with some other patterns and maybe some stencils and some stamps, and yay, there's just so much we can do. It's so much fun. I love it. Muted turquoise is a stunning color. Look at that. You just want to jump into it. Just absolutely beautiful. So again, I'm using a laser print from a royalty-free image on Unsplash. Yay, love Unsplash. And we're going to put her again onto a piece of craft paper because this is the simplest way of doing an image transfer. Righto, let's see how well she transferred in the muted turquoise. Oh yes, pretty good. Not going to cry about that. I was thinking of putting her on this fabulous looking bohemian craft paper, and she should suit that really well. Right, let's see how our fabulous little hippie chick transferred. Oh yes, she looks fabulous. Maybe it's a little bit too patterned in her face perhaps, but it's looking pretty good. Now you can see how simple that technique is. Putting the laser print onto the gel plate, and then from the gel plate straight onto a piece of paper, craft paper. You can also use tissue. If you use tissue, then your image is going to be transparent, which is magnificent, and you can put that into your collage. Yay! I'm really liking this muted turquoise. I think I'll do it again. This time I'm going to put the image transfer onto a piece of tissue, and you can see how effective that's going to be using it for collage. She looks pretty good. What I like about this is there a strong contrast between the dark and the light in the photo, and that's what you really need, because that's what makes the image transfer successful. Give the paper a good firm rub, and let's see how she turned out. Not too bad transfer, maybe a little bit light on her face, but actually I think if we put her on the glassine, The glassine is fabulous because it pulls up all the paint from the gel plate. So if you have a lot of fine detail that you really want to capture and you want your paper to be transparent, then glassine is the one you want to use. Right, let's see how she looks. See how the glassine's pulling up all the paint off the plate? Oh, just love that. There she is, absolutely beautiful. You can even see the tattoo detail on her shoulder. So that's been a great image transfer. That's transferred very well. And the beauty of putting the image transfer onto something transparent, glassine, or even just the tissue is you can put it in multiple layers then in your collage. You can put something under it and something over it, and it can really be a fabulous element. Yay, she's looking great. All right, what about we do some 2-color monoprints? All right, if you want to, let's do it. Right, so I have this fabulous image here of this stunning looking strong woman. I have used her in a collage before, taking an image transfer. I put her onto music notes and she turned out fabulous. I love her, it's one of my faves. So let's use her and do a 2-color monoprint. I'm using the Payne's Grey. Light layer of paint on the plate and down goes your image. Now the only thing different with a 2-color monoprint with an image transfer is that you have to wait for the first layer to dry. I know, right? That's why I like the simple method. There's no waiting. But it shouldn't take too long. We'll wait. We're very patient people. So there is my stunning looking woman on the gel plate. That's a great image transfer. She transferred beautiful. I could put her straight onto a piece of paper right now, but we're going to wait and do a 2-color monoprint. And what color should we put over her? Oh, she's going to have to be at least red or something strong. Oh, what about copper? Yes, let's get some copper. So I waited a few minutes and now I'm adding some iridescent copper in the Liquitex Basics. Love this brand. Again, it's affordable. Now, if you don't wait for your image transfer to dry, you will pull it off the plate when you're trying to roll your paint on. Yes, I know, because I've done it. I have. Ah, yes. If I haven't been patient enough to wait for the layer to dry, then the next layer just pulls the first layer off. So, you know, note to self, you do just have to wait. I think she could look quite beautiful with the copper. She might look good with just a tiny bit of crimson. What do you think? I know. Quinacridone crimson. You know I love the colour. Oh, yes. What about if we just like splotch it on like that so it's kind of got a textured mark? Oh, man. What about if we put a texture plate on it? Okay, hang on a minute. Right, so this is just a texture plate that I have over there in the studio. And I just wanted to throw some more marks on it just for fun because didn't I say we were experimenting? Yes, I did. Righto, so now we're going to put that onto a piece of the Japanese calligraphy paper and hopefully it will all pull off without tearing. Sometimes I do get a little carried away and the paper does tear because I've waited too long or I put too much paint on or I played with it too much. So, you know, that does happen. But I do get a little spontaneous once I start creating, especially jelly printing. And I want to try this and I want to try that. So I want to encourage you to do that. It doesn't matter if it tears or it doesn't work out because you've got to allow yourself that freedom to just create. It's that energy and that passion that, oh my gosh, I so love. Right, let's see how she came up. Hope she pulled off the plate. Yay! Our copper and crimson looks beautiful. Look at that! Loving it. I love it even better with my textured marks from my texture plate, which is one of these. Yay! You can use anything, but that looks pretty cool. She's a pretty nice print. I like her look and the strength on her face. She would work well in collage. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful. Also, it has that metallic shine from the copper. That looks really nice. This time I've pulled out some Mars Black. I know, we're going to get a little dramatic. I just can't help myself. It's got to happen. Now, sometimes when you want to put your image transfer onto a background piece of paper, it's too textured like the other one I did. I think that this one is perhaps too much texture and pattern for my transfer. So when you do something like this and you're like, yeah, I didn't like that, that didn't go so great, what you can use is this transparent mixing white. You put your transfer on your plate and then you do the second layer with the transparent mixing white, and it just knocks back the background of the piece of paper you're wanting to put it on. Okay, I know you want me to show you, so let's do it this time. I may have left my paint too long because I was yapping and the transfer may not work so well, but you know, man, sometimes that's just how it goes. Oh, she transferred pretty well. So I'll let that dry and then we'll put some of the transparent mixing white, and I think we're going to put it onto some music. That'll be fun. I like that. I like using music notes. Righto, she should be dry enough now for the next layer. We hope. We hope. Yes, we do. What I like about this is you can use the paint to pull the print, and it's transparent enough just to knock back the pattern of the paper that you're wanting to put it on. These old music pages that I pull out of the books I get from the thrift store, they can be a little brittle. So you do have to be a little bit gentle when you're jelly printing with them, because they can snap and break if they're really old and dry. Yeah, I know. I've done that too. Whoopsies. Let's see how well she came off the plate. Yay, she's looking pretty good. See how beautiful that the tinting white is? It just is a pale background, but you can still see the texture of what's on your paper. So I still have the fabulous music notes, but it's not so strong. But if I didn't put the transparent mixing white on, then the notes would have run right over her face, very dark and black, and that would have been annoying because, you know, she's got a beautiful face. But putting the transparent mixing white on that layer to pull the transfer, it just knocks back the paper a bit and it just makes your image stand up more, and I'm pretty happy with that. Beautiful, great transfer, loving the music notes. They work well in the feel of the image, and yay, we're cooking with gas. Right, now that you've mastered the image transfer technique with the laser prints, we're going to step it up and hit the magazines. I find using the magazines for image transfers to be very hit and miss. Mostly miss. It irritates me immensely. So just know that before we get into it, I could get cranky. I find the laser prints work every time, but not so much with magazines. Now, you still need the same concept of it. There must be a strong contrast of light and dark in your image for it to transfer well. And we want something interesting. These girls are pretty fun. I'm thinking, yes, let's rip out a few of these girls. They look pretty fun. This is a Vogue magazine if you want to know. And we might add some text and some other areas as well with our transfer. Now I have pulled out my 14 by 12 inch gel plate because I'm probably going to want to put a few pages onto the printing area, and I just wanted to get the bigger one out. Yay! So we're going to try a few of these. They may or may not work successfully, and if they don't, you might hear me cry. Just know the laser prints work every time, just saying. Right, so I've pulled out some of the pages from the magazine, torn around the images a bit so there's not so much white space. And I'm using some Mars Black on my amazing big fat gel plate. I just love it. It's so much bigger. Oh, look at the expanse. Yes, I think that's too much paint. Right, so the same principles apply. Not too much paint on the plate and high contrast images. And when it comes to magazine pages, you then just got to hope for the best. So we'll put some of these papers on and see if we can get something to work. That would be fabulous. Little bit of text around the images. Sometimes the text works really well, sometimes it doesn't, but you've got to try these things. Give that a little rub and see how we go. So let's see if these transferred or not. Ooh, the first one's got a little bit of text. That's hopeful. I know, right? It's always a surprise. That one's got some more text. That's not too bad either. Oh, we got a little bit of text down there. And the shapes of the pages, how I tore them, that will also make a mark. It's all pretty fun and it's all very experimental. I love it, actually. I love the whole process of image transfers. Not as much when they don't work, but I still do love the process. Oh, she's come up all right. Oh, her face is a little moody. I like moody. So I'll let this dry and then I'll put a layer of paint on it to pull the print. Yay! Not too bad, not too bad. There you go. That's what we've got. That's a good start. So I just had a thought that it would be really fun to put a stamp along with these images from the magazine. So I have an art foamy stamp. I'm just putting some blue onto it and putting it onto my plate. Yay! I've got some phthalo blue red shade. Look at that. That is very cool. Loving this idea. Just going to put some of these marks on the plate and then that will have to dry before I actually pull the print. Just going to add some on top of the text and see how that looks. That looks pretty cool. Righto, I'll let that dry and then I'll pull the print. I think my phthalo blue looks fabulous. I'm going to throw a bit of the iridescent bronze fine and pull the print. Golden, maybe some of that paint might not exactly be entirely dry on the blue, so it might get a little smudgy, but that's okay. We'll cope. Yeah, see, it's not quite dry. Told you I'm hopeless at waiting for things to dry. Okay, the blue's not entirely dry, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Give it a nice cover with the iridescent bronze fine. And I think I'll use glassine because that will get all the paint off, especially if I didn't wait for it to dry. Yes, let's give that a try. Okay. Oh man, my piece is not quite big enough. Oh man, I'm not winning so great, am I? Whoopsies. Clip the corner there. Not to worry. It's experimental. It's all experimental. Righto, let's see what kind of mess we made with this one. I like the phthalo blue with the bronze. Look how nice that looks. Oh yeah, the image transfer from the magazine is not too bad. It's a little crinkly because I didn't put my paper on straight to start with. That didn't help. But that looks okay, especially for a magazine image transfer. It's not too bad. It's a bit of fun. The blue texture pattern of the stamp looks fabulous. I love that kind of energy with it. And I can use either some of it or all of it for another collage, because this could start as the base of a collage and then I could add other elements of paper or stamps or stencils to go with it, and that'd work out just fine. I think we should just do one more. What do you think? Okay, so I pulled out some more pages from my fabulous Vogue magazine. I'm not really sure how this one's going to go because there isn't enough contrast between these tones of color here. There is here, so it would be interesting. This one could work a little better, and I like the big lettering, so that will be fun. I also pulled out some more lettering and some texts. So let's have another go with our fabulous image transfers with the magazine pages. And I'm using my favorite Payne's Grey. A nice thin cover of my favorite Payne's Grey is always a good way to start. You never quite know what you're going to get with the magazine image transfers, because some of them transfer really well and some of them that you think are going to transfer well just don't. What about we put her sideways? Okay, we're putting her sideways. But really, it's the experiment of the process, and it's all about creating the art. Whether or not it works perfectly, oh my gosh, is so secondary. So secondary to the fun of it all. Let's put some text over here. So I'm just going to cover the plate with text and with different pages out of the magazine, and then we'll see how that looks. For me, they never print as clear as the laser prints that I've printed out, because I think perhaps because I specifically choose the photos that I know are going to work for the strong contrast, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe just the laser prints transfer better than the magazine pages. But this is always fun and it's really experimental. So you've got to at least try it. Give it a go. You haven't got much to lose. A little bit of paint, some time, ripping up a Vogue magazine. What's not to love about that? Righto, so we've got some text down there and that transferred quite well. That's a good start. Some more text there and some text up the side. I wonder how our big piece of text went. Oh, some text in the corner there's all right. A little bit of those words came through. And let's see what happened with our girls. Oh, she transferred better than I thought she would. That's kind of fun having her sideways. Right? Because it's all going to end up in collage anyway. Well, some of that wording came through nicely back to front. That's all good. And she's not too bad. Not a bad transfer. You know, I'd really like to put some stencil on this one. That could be really fun. So I'm going to put a little bit of this fabulous effervescent stencil. It's a new one that I got from PM Artist Studio, and right now I'm just loving it. A little bit of that on there. Look how fabulous that looks. In the golden bronze fine, put a little bit in the corner. It's actually really helpful having this 2-inch brayer. I only bought that recently because it's great for this kind of thing when you just want to stick a few little bits and pieces on the plate and you don't want a big brayer. So I'll just have a little play with that, and then we'll let that dry and take the print. So I'm thinking, how about some of the iridescent copper? That could really be fun. Let's see if we can pull the girls off the plate with that. Nice thin layer of copper. Got my glassine. Let's see if I can get it on a bit straighter this time. And not so crinkled. Right, the moment of the big reveal. Drum roll. Let's see what we've got. Oh, it's looking pretty good. I think we've got it getting them off the plate. Gotta love that incredible metallic copper color. Ah, beautiful. And with that little bit of bronze texture on it, so much fun. Look at that. That is just fun. Now that's the results that you can expect from the magazine page, with a little bit of paint, a couple of layers, and yay, bit of fun, bit of color, fabulous for collage elements. And there you go. So which of these fabulous prints do you like the best? Have you tried using the laser prints, or do you prefer to have fun with the magazine pages? For me personally, I definitely like the laser prints. It's more absolute in the transfer. I still find that the magazines can be a little hit and miss, but it is always fun. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had a great time with me in the studio. Now, if you want to learn more, you can check out my Skillshare classes. The links will be in the description. Also, my shops will be there where you can find my original paintings and my digital collage papers. Baby, there's even discount codes. So have a look at all the information, and I'll see you again next week.